Sarah Bas Avram, it's Jimmy's mother, and also thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. I don't have it. It's in my other Gemara.
Yirmiyahu Ben Sarah.
Yirmiyahu Ben Sarah.
Getting surgery on
Should everything should be well. Also, Yechiel Nassim Ben Sarah and Aaron David Alevi Ben Menucha Lester. Okay, we're starting Tanur Rabbanan on Yud Aleph. This is about 10 lines from the top. Tanur Rabbanan. The rabbis taught in the Brisa. Yeah, they claim that Tanur Rabbanan don't start with a name. That's I don't know if it's always like that. Bismanchi Yisrael Shruyim Bitzar, when everyone else is suffering, and one of them separates himself from the community, and he does his own thing. So there's two angels that always accompany every person. Rashi quotes, there's always angels there. They come and they say, they put their hands on his head. This fellow, he's not doing what suffering together with the community. He shouldn't be there when the community is consoled. Yeah. What's he doing? He's probably not fasting together with everyone else when there's a fast day.
So he should be with the community.
He should be with the community. Tanya Yidach, we have another brisa. When the tzibur is suffering, person shouldn't say, let me go home, I'll eat and I'll drink. And I'll have peace. Good morning. I'll have peace with myself. And if he does this, in others, he shouldn't be separating himself from the community, saying, look, I still have food. I'm going to just enjoy. If he does this, the pasuk says, behold, there's rejoicing and happiness. Let's kill. Let's have a barbecue. Let's kill cattle. Let's shecht sheep. Achol basar shesaysiayin. We'll eat the meat. We'll drink wine. Achol v'shasu. Let's eat and drink kimachar namas. For tomorrow we die. Yeah, that's an expression, right? Eat and drink.
That's the difference that we have from that the Goyim have on New Year's and our New Year's on Rosh Hashanah. Is that they just party and everything, and we try and do like a New Year's resolution.
Right. So what are they saying? They're saying that they're afraid of death, and because of that, let's do something that's they have the wrong solution, but death actually means something to them. Maksiv Basrei, but afterwards it says, it's revealed in my ears, this is Yeshaya speaking, Hashem Tzavakos, that Hashem says, Hashem, the Lord of hosts, that this sin will not be forgiven until they die. Now, Adkan Mida Bainas, this is for the average person. Doesn't mean average. I think it means this is like a somewhat wicked, not someone that's separating himself from the community, but he still is afraid of death. The wicked, it says Asayu ekha yayin. Asayu means to come. Come, we'll buy wine. Benispa sheichar, have hard drinks. Bayakazay yaymachar. And we'll do this again tomorrow. In other words, there's no stop. So Maksiv Basrei, what does it say afterwards? It says that the tzaddik is lost. No one even thinks about that it's because of the wicked that the tzaddik is passed away. Now there's two pshatim in Rashi. What does it mean? It's because of the wicked. One is that the wicked should not have to see the suffering that the people are going to go through. And the other one is that the wicked shouldn't be there to protect what's going to happen to the people. In other words, these people don't even think about death at all. Yeah. The Gemara goes back. The person should be mitzar matzibur. But Moshe Rabbeinu should tzir atzma matzibur. Find that Moshe Rabbeinu suffered together with the community. Yeah, I'm just looking up at Tosfos. I see I forgot something over here. Mentioned that a person can't have relations during the famine. Tosfos has this famous question: what about Yocheved? When they came to Egypt, it was the second year of the famine, and Yocheved was born ben Achaimas. So Levi was Yocheved's mother. Obviously, didn't keep the rules. No, Yocheved was a grandson of Yaakov. It was Moshe Rabbeinu's mother. So she was born in the second year of the famine. It doesn't fit. We said that Yosef, this was yesterday's Gemara, said that Yosef had two children before the famine came. Wouldn't have relations during the famine. And we see Levi didn't seem to care. So Tosfos says that it wasn't really forbidden. It was only Chasidus. Yosef HaTzadik. Midas Yesod. He was very careful, but other people not. That's what Tosfos says. Other people, it wasn't like a real rule. Surprising that Tosfos does that to the Gemara. Okay, so we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was tzir atzmei matzibur. He afflicted himself together with the community. Where do we see this? Shenemar. Moshe's hands were heavy. This is by the war with Amalek, right? If he raises his hands, then they win. So they take a stone and they put it under him. And he sat on it. Couldn't get him a cushion. He had to sit on a rock. There's no comfortable chairs. So Moshe says, "Hayil b'Yisrael shruyim b'tzar, afani eyamayim b'tzar." Yeah, in Montreal we had a mashpia there, Rabbi Greenglass, but he would never sit. We had different chairs in the yeshiva. He would never sit on the cushion chairs. No, it was like an old time chassid. Nothing comfortable. I didn't want to. Anyway, Moshe says if the Jewish people are suffering, afani eyamayim b'tzar. See, that could be the Rambam writes in the Pirush Mishnayos on the Masechta Avos Lefum Tzara Agra, that the way that your position when you learn, if you recline and this, so you don't remember the learning as well. That's what he writes in the Pirush Mishnayos. There's some wild things in his commentaries there. So that's what Moshe says. If the Jewish people are suffering, if I afflict myself with the community, I'll see in their consolation. May it be. Maybe a person will say, who's going to know? This is a question probably I guess you can ask on everything. Who's going to testify if I suffered along? Well, the Gemara answers. We're going to get 4 answers here. Avni Beis Shaladam. It's the stones of the house, the Kurdish Beis Shaladam, and the beams of the house. Meet them by they're going to testify. Shnemer Evan Mikir Tizak. V'chapis Mi'etz Yanena. A stone from the wall will cry out, and a brick from the timber, from the wood, will respond. Okay, so they're going to testify about what a person did. We mentioned before that there's 2 angels. Right? Shenemar kimalach v'tzavalach. Reb Chidka Amar neshmasi shaladam he made alav. Reb Chidka says it's the person's neshama. His soul is going to testify. Shenami mishechaves chikecha shemar pischipicha. From what lays by your chest, you have to guard your tongue. You have to guard your mouth. That what does it mean that lays by your chest? Usually it says referring to his wife, but over here it's referring to his neshama that is always with him. Yeah. Some say that a person's own limbs. Atem edai. You are my witnesses, says Hashem. Okay. How do you see that that's going to be the limbs? You have a note over there? Doesn't say anything yet. Okay. Yeah, in this big conflict with if Tzimtzum Kipshute or not, when Hashem, based on the writings of the Arizal, that when Hashem created the world, he removed himself to make a space for the world. So was that literal or not? So according to the opinion that it was literal, so then Hashem is not in places where that are unholy, because he only came back to places that would be holy. It's a Kabbalistic argument. Anyway, so in order to answer the question that they had, if that's the case, so then someone doesn't have air in the bathroom or something, so Hashem isn't there to see. So they answered that, well, he can read the forehead when they walk out, or they gave other answers. Yeah, it's all playing with things that we don't know anything about, so can answer it. Novel. God, a trustworthy God. This is in Hazina, right? And there's no iniquity. Kelamuna. What does it mean, a trustworthy God? Nothing gets lost. The wicked get punished even for a small avera. The tzaddikim also get punished for a small avera. Yeah, sometimes people say, do you know how bad I am? This is nothing. It doesn't matter. No, it's not true. You get every detail is okay. Every detail counts. So ve'in avel, what does it mean? There's no iniquity. Shem shemishalmin schar letzadikim leilam haba afilu mitzvah kala shaisin kach mishalmin schar lerishon beilam hazeh afilu mitzvah kala shaisin. The tzadikim get rewarded for every detail. So to the wicked get rewarded for every detail. The only thing is, the tzaddikim get it in the world to come, and the wicked get it in this world. That's the whole difference. But in the accounting, it's all the same. Tzaddik v'yashiru, Shem is just and upright. So the text of here says, Mulamid shebashas or amru b'shas p'tiras yishaladam, when a person passes away lebeisei lamai, to the next world. Kol ma'asav nifratim. They have a different girsa. Nifratim are detailed. That's the shiltis. I have niftarim in the text, but on the side it says nifratim, which means it's itemized. All is right. Nifratim lefanav ha'imrim lai, and they say kach v'kach asisi, you did this and this. B'makam pliny, b'yayim pliny. B'waimer hein, he says yes. You see, you did this in that place. On such and such a day, he says yes. I'm like Hasain. Say okay, sign here. L'chaisim he signs. Shneimah b'yad kol adam yachtem. It's signed by every person. He even justifies the judgment. You judged me correctly. So that he should be righteous in your words. In other words, that you also will accept the judgment. Yeah, they would say that they actually, the only person that can judge it, the only judgment that could be passed on a Jew is by a Jew himself. So they show him someone else. They say, what do you think about such and such a person that does this? He says, oh, it's no good. So then they go back to him and they say, but you did it also. So they take his judgment that he passed. That's why it's not good to be judgmental.
He's like the second witness, right?
Oh, is that?
That's what I heard.
So don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah. No. So they take his judgments from this world. They say, you said this about them. This is a lashon hara. Yeah, it shouldn't be judgmental. Yeah, in Chabad, we're very less judgmental, but it's than other more accepting or whatever. But it's really more than that. It's not just like judgmental. It's more like a.
Humbleness.
It's more like it's like a respect for people regardless of where they're holding.
Is that a
It's in the
Hasidic
Chabad
thing,
house,
or
yeah. It's
just
a.
Chabad?
It's
I know
clearly
that's pretty much a
Chabad.
lot
I don't
of
know
people
the.
outside.
I know the Chabad house. This is the style
Mhm.
that you walk. Any person walks in and there's no judgment at all. And someone gave a speech once. He said, "You know why I like?" It was like a guest of honor at a Chabad. You know why I like the rabbi? Because I drove to Shul on Yom Kippur and I ate a sandwich, and the rabbi still loves me. So it's a little embarrassing, but the truth is that he had a point that there's we don't judge the people by their behaviors. The behaviors is one thing, and then there's the person. And anyway, okay,
You're supposed to hate the Avera, not the person.
right. So, okay, Amar Shmuel. Statement from Shmuel, the first generation Amir in Bavel. Kol Yeshiv b'Taanis nikra chayte. Anyone that sits and fasts, anyone that fasts is a sinner. Savar ki Tana, he follows an earlier Tana, the Tanya. Rabbi Lezer Kapper, Berebi Yomer. Rabbi Lezer Kapper, I guess the great, says, Matal Mudlaimar, what is the meaning of the pasuk? B'chiper alav mashachat ala nefesh. This is talking about a nazir that becomes tummy. So it says he has to bring an atonement for he sinned on the soul. Which soul did he sin? What did he sin? Which soul did he sin? Which sin did his soul commit? He took a vow not to drink wine. That's a sin. And this is like a kal v'chaimer. Take a look. It's a fortiori. It's logical. If someone only takes a vow not to drink wine, he's considered a sinner. Someone that takes a vow not to eat anything for sure is a sinner. Yeah. We're going to see what's the pshat shortly, but it could be Hashem, Hashem made the world for us to partake of. What's the famous line from Shamshon Falhesh? He says that he's going to go to heaven. Hashem's going to tell him, Shamshon, did you see my Alps?
Like the mountains?
Yeah. Okay. So we're supposed to partake of these things. Yeah, this obviously doesn't apply to people that are struggling with addiction. But Rabbi Lezer says the opposite. Rabbi Lezer ben Pedas. Yeah, he's saying that the Nazir is sin. Yeah. And Rabbi Lezer says no, he's called Kaddish. Shenemar Kaddish Gadol Pera Sareishay. Holy it will be, he grows his hair, the hair of his head. Kaddish. If someone that only takes a vow from one thing, not to drink wine, he's already holy. He gets even holier. This is great. So there's a machlekes, extreme polar machlekes here. L'shmuel hekri kaddish. What does Shmuel do with the verse that he's holding? That's talking about the hair. There's two shots over here. What do I see over here? That the hair is asr bana. The hair is holy. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised this is not in
In Nazir?
Yeah.
It is. It is in Nazir as well. The Gemara here on the side. The Mesiris, I have a Mesiris Shas. Mesiris Shas was Rabbi Yeshua Boaz. I think is your son-in-law related to Mesiris Shas? Yeah. So he wrote these like spectacular, helpful.
Those things in the margins there.
Yeah. Yeah, these references are unbelievable. He did the Maseres Shas and the Mishpat. I think he did all of it, and I think he did the Psukim as well. However, the brackets is from Rabbi Yeshaya Pick, Rabbi Yeshaya Berlin. Sometimes there's these brackets here in the Maseres Shas. Rabbi Yeshaya Berlin. Yeah. Okay, so Shmuel Rabbi Lazar Nikra Chayti. What about Rabbi Lazar says that he's a sinner? What is Rabbi Lazar says that he's holy? What about the pasuk that says he's a sinner? No, Hahu Desav Nafshay. That's because he came in contact with a corpse. He's not a sinner from the beginning. He's a sinner because he was a nazir. He wasn't supposed to become tamei. This was pasuk was about a nazir that becomes tamei. Rabbi Lazar Hachi, does Rabbi Lazar really say that he becomes holy? Rabbi Lazar says that a person should always imagine. Just to shut him over here. Look at Taisvus. He says that Hashem is inside his stomach. It's not right that he should starve him. Yeah, interesting shot. Or Shenemar Bekir B'cha Kadesh V'layavay Be'ir. I won't come into the city. Bekir B'cha Kadesh, Hashem is inside you. I won't come into the city. What does Rashi say? I won't go into the city above until I can come into the city below. I guess it means until I'm taken care of, until you feed yourself. It means that it's not a good thing to fast. Here it looks like it's a good thing. He says that it's a good thing to fast. Here it looks like it's not a good thing to fast. This is like kasha. It depends if he's able to, if he can endure it. If he can endure it, so then it's okay, and if not, then it's a bad thing. Rish Lakish says someone that fasts is called a chassid. Yeah, this is interesting. Usually a chassid is someone else. Rashi says, let's take a look. 1 second. Shenemar, goimel nafshay ish chassid. What is goimel nafshay? Rashi says that we're talking about someone that fasts is called a chassid. Goimel means to wean. He weans himself off food. What they say about the horse. This guy started to feed his horse less and less every day. It was almost getting it to eat nothing. It was getting used to that, and then all of a sudden it died. So, such a shame. I almost had it without any overhead. Could have been a perfect horse. So okay, so that's Rashi's pshat, that he's taking himself away from food. Taisvus learns different. Taisvus says he does kindness to his soul, that he doesn't fast. Someone that doesn't fast is a chassid. It's totally different pshat. Mamish, how does Taisvus do that? Because the Reish Lakish never said about what is a chassid. See that? Reish Lakish Amar Nikra chassid. Who's a chassid? Says the opposite. Someone that doesn't fast. Okay, va'oker, and he troubles his flesh. Etc. Amar Rav Sheshes, Hai bar beira. There's a famous Taz at the beginning of in Ebenezer Siman Chaf Gimel Dalet. Taz writes that he sees some people that they sleep well at night, and in the morning they learn the whole day, very nice. Then you see some people that they stay up all night and they're learning, and during the day they're tired and they keep learning. So which way is better? So he says, Harbi Drachim Lamakim. Everyone has his own approach. He says that what the guy learns during the day, he slept all night, he can learn as much as the person that was up all night. That was because it says Harbi Drachim Lamakim. Okay, so there's no rules. Amar Rav Sheshes, Hai bar beirav the Yasib Tanisa. Rav Sheshes says that this yeshiva bacher that's fasting, lechel karbel shirusei, it's like a dog ate his leftovers. Basically, he didn't gain anything by fasting. There's nothing there that was significant. It's as if he fasted because he didn't have lunch. It wasn't like a special thing that he did. Rab Yirmiyah bar Abba, it's the older Rab Yirmiyah. Ein tainis tzibur bebavel el Tisha B'av belvad. In Bavel, they only have Tisha B'av. They don't do the other fasts for rain. Rashi says that what this really means is that they don't do a real fast that starts on the day before. They don't do any of those fasts. Yeah. And they're not allowed to wear shoes. That's only a Tisha B'av. That's only Tisha B'av. They never do a fast that starts the day before. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba Amar Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba says the name of Rish Lakish. He has it now in the name of Rish Lakish. Ein Talmud Chacham Rashai Leisha B'Taanis Mishamayit Melech Shamayim. A Talmud Chacham is not allowed to fast because what does he gain by fasting? He's not doing the work of Hashem with the strength that he should be doing. Yeah, I looked in that Professor, what's his name? That other Taanis, Malter, Professor Malter's Masechta Taanis. And on yesterday's Gemara, we had Rabbi Yehuda Amar Reb Chia. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Reb Chia. So he adjusted. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav Amar Reb Chia. Yeah, so over here we just have Rabbi Yirmiyah. I didn't get a chance to look it up, but it's probably Rabbi Yirmiyah says Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, and then we have Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, Amar Rish Lakish. It could be they're both Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, Amar Rish Lakish. That's why I'd have two in a row. Okay. You eat and drink in the evening, and the fast starts in the morning. So we learned in the Mishnah, or is that a brisa somewhere? That was in a Mishnah, right? That was the Mishnah in Daf Yod. The three fasts, they start in the morning. Amar Rab Zira, Amar Rav Huna. Yachid shekibel of Taanis, if you loch v'shasa kol halayla, lamachrom mispalal tfilas Taanis. Okay. It's not a big chiddush so far. Someone that accepts on himself to fast the following day, so he's allowed to eat by night, and in the morning he davens and he says Anenu Tfilas Taanis. He's allowed to add the special prayer for the fasting. Lon b'tanisei. This is the interesting part. He then continues his fast the following night. So I'm doing so well. Let's keep this up. And the following night, instead of breaking his fast, he goes to sleep fasting. Einem mispal shel Taanis. What's the base? Probably b'boker. L'machar. The following day, he can't say Anenu. Amar Rav Yosef, Ma'ikasav Rav Huna. Rav Yosef says, what's the logic of this? He has an extra fast. Let him say Anenu. Svira le'ein mesanen l'shos, because that wasn't a full fast. It's only overnight, and it's in the morning. He's about to break his fast by breakfast, so that's not considered a fast. Dilma, or maybe that's not the pshat. Maybe mesanen l'shos. Maybe there is a fast for a certain amount of hours. Maybe what the pshat is that, you see, here's the question: is there such a concept of Taanis shos? I'm going to fast for a few hours. Does that exist? In other words, if a person says, I'm going to fast for, does he have to actually keep that fast? Is that a real thing, a fast for a few hours? Does that really accomplish anything? Is that considered a fast in any way? So he's saying maybe Rav Huna holds that there's no such thing as a Taanis shos. Or maybe Rav Huna holds there is such a thing as a Taanis shos. You're just not allowed to say Anenu. Okay, so Amar le Abaya. Abaya says, Leilam ksav Rav Huna, this is Rabbi Yosef that was asking the question, and Rav Huna, and about what Rav Huna holds, and Abaya is Rabbi Yosef's student, he comes in and he answers. Leilam Ksav Rav Huna Masanan L'Shos. Rav Huna really holds that there is such a thing as a fast that's just a few hours. But Masanan L'Shos Mispal Tfilas Taanis. And someone that fasts just an hourly fast, he actually can say Anenu as well. The only thing is, you have to accept it on the day before. He accepted it 2 days before. He didn't accept that day's fast the following night. He just said, I'm doing so well, I'll just continue while I'm at it. There were chassidim that would fast Bahab Monday, Thursday, but they would break it right before the end of the fast. So they felt like they would get proud, and pride was even worse. So they didn't want to have it like complete. They didn't want to. Yeah.
That sounds like the pshat here too, like if you can fast or not, whether it's a blessing or a curse kind of thing.
I mean, in Taanis Daf.
No, like the previous discussion about.
Oh, maybe that's the pshat. They say that. How does someone bring a sacrifice today? So miyat chelbi v'dami, when a person diminishes his own flesh, so that's like a sacrifice to Hashem. But it depends for what reason he's bringing it. If he's doing it to get closer to Hashem, so then it's a sacrifice to Hashem. If he's doing it for his own ego, then it's a sacrifice to Avodah Zarah. That's what they say. Yeah. Okay. No, but we give something that we want. There's two parts to a gift. Two parts. You go to someone's house, you're gonna bring a gift. You don't know what they like, so you could bring what you like. If you know what they like, then you give what they like. But if you don't know, you give what you like. So that's what we do for Hashem. Give him what we like. Time. That I told you, I saw that pshat. That what we give Hashem by davening is we give him time. Okay. Marukva ikla leginzek. You know where I saw that pshat? I saw it in that book of all the seas are ink. Of all the seas are ink. Remember that? Did you read that, Danielle? It's this lady. She's learning the Daf Yomi and she's writing her memoir based on what's going on in the Daf. So in Brachas, she had this pshat that when we daven, we give Hashem time. Let's see. It's a nice pshat. So I'm sorry.
Somebody who recently became religious, the wife is saying, I don't mind that my husband's religious now, but it just takes up so much of our time.
Right. Yeah. This lady, for her anniversary, she says, I want to go to Mincha Ma'ariv. I said, all right, that's going to be cheap. Go ahead. So anyway, she goes to Mincha Ma'ariv. She comes back. The husband says, what did he get from Mincha Ma'ariv? Says, well, I found out that Mincha is only 10 minutes and Ma'ariv is only 5 minutes. So why does it take you an hour and a half every night? Okay. So Marukva ikla leginzek. Marukva goes to Ginzek. Boimine. They asked him, Misanan l'shois, ein misanan l'shois. Are you allowed to do a fast like this? That's just a few hours. He didn't know the answer. Marukva was a Reish Galusa. It was a Reish Galusa, I think. It was a Dayan. He didn't have the answer. Kankanim shel nachrim. What about?
He was
It was extra large.
Shmuel.
Yeah, it was close to Shmuel, right? Says anything else? Was he a Dayan or was he just a? It was clearly the Reish Galusa, I think.
Says it was called Matan to Tzutzia. The Tzutzia, which refers to an incident in which an angel grabbed him by the hair. I guess it's famous, maybe. And it said,
Wow.
like some sort of factor.
Wow. Yeah. Right. Okay, there was a, I don't remember now. I think they had like dintyros together or something. They would sit together. Okay. So they asked him this question. He didn't know the answer. They asked him another question. What about the jugs of wine from a non-Jew? Are you allowed to use it? You can't drink the wine, that's clear. But what about the barrels? Can you use the barrels? He didn't know the answer to that either. But what did Moshe wear when he was working in the Mishkan for the first 7 days for the inauguration? It wasn't a Kohen Gadol. So what did he wear? He didn't know. So he goes to the base medrash. The halacha is like Abaya taught us in the name of Rav Huna, that yes, you can be fast for several hours. You make up how long you're going to fast. Of course, the day before you have to make that up, and then you can say Anenu. You're allowed to use those barrels as well after 12 months. To sit for 12 months. That's where it comes from. Sometimes the Rav will paskin that I haven't used the keli for 12 months. If it was a keli that wasn't kasherable, sometimes they'll allow it. China, sometimes they allow it because China's, you can't really kasher unless you put it back in the kiln. We had that once. We had this like interesting China. We put in glass. The glass, some people are more lenient about. But glass also, it's usually not used for hot, so you can put it in cold for 3 days. There's ways of kashing that, but we put it back in the kiln. I remember my mother brought it to this place that made China, and they put it in, and the colors on it smudged. It was already, it didn't last. It wasn't it's a nice try. So okay, now so 12 months, so it could become kosher, the barrels. He wore one white cloak. Yeah, I heard Rabbi Ginsburg one time speaking about this. He says that the word echad is the 7 garments. I'm sorry, the 8 garments of the Kohen Gadol on a regular day. The dalet, the ches, the dalet is. The dalet is the 4 garments that he wears on Yom Kippur, and the aleph is the chalak lavan that Moshe Rabbeinu wore when he served. He was also like a quasi Kohen Gadol. Okay, that's the aleph. Rav Kana Masni, Rav Kana taught b'chalak lavan shein liyimra. It was a chalak lavan. It's unbelievable. That doesn't have a hem. You see. He can't have anything that he could possibly sneak out a coin in or something. Can't have a hem. That's what they're worried about. Okay. It says, V'yisim nekiyim Hashem Yisrael. No one should ever suspect you of anything. Amar Rav Chizda, Hadam Misanot L'Shayis, V'hu Shlei Tam Klam Ad Ha'erev. It's a difficult Gemara because the Gemara switches the pshat here. This is only if he doesn't eat until evening. What's it? It sounds like I don't know when the fast is. Is the fast happening in the morning, or is the fast happening in the afternoon? Fast half a day, then he eats. That's for sure not a inay. If he ate before chatzos, a taanis shows has to go the whole day. Basically, that's what Rav Huna says. Amalei Abaya, a taanis malaisi. What do you mean? If he finishes the day, then that's a full day. That's a regular fast. It says what it means is like this. He actually didn't have in mind to fast in the morning. He fasted the whole morning, and then he decides, you know what, I'll finish the day in a fast. So that's considered a fast. It wasn't the way we said it before, but I thought before we said that you have to accept it before. Yeah. Do you have any comments on that? And is there a note on this It's a difficult Gemara. It's because what was he saying before? What there was like a misunderstanding in this Gemara.
One may observe a fast for a few hours, provided that in practice he does not eat the entire day. And it says how so? If one is immersed in his daily activities and does not eat in the morning, then subsequently decides that he wants to fast for the remainder of the day, he is allowed to do so and should then insert the menu.
Oh wow! So he doesn't have to accept it the day before. He can accept it, I guess, in the morning.
There's other authorities.
Is that a halacha comment?
That's
Oh, that's the halacha comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a book where Pista maintains that this kind of fasting for hours is considered a fast.
Right. Right. Well, we had Rav Huna saying that. And Rav Chizda is now saying it as well. Amar Rav Chizda, yeah. The Amar Rav Chizda. Okay, let's go further. Amar Rav Chizda. It's not 100% clear. Amar Rav Chizda, Kol Taanis Shlei Shakal Av Cham Alav Shmei Taanis. Any Taanis that wasn't until the end of the day is not a Taanis. Rav Chizda basically holds that you have to fast the whole day. That's basically what we're learning. Meisvei, we have a question. Anshi Mishmar Misanan V'lei Mashlimin. The Kayanim in the base of Migdash, the Levium. So when they had these fast days for the community was fasting, they would fast as well, but they wouldn't finish the fast. They would stop in sometime in the middle of the day. Now, this is a contradiction to what Rav Chizda said. Rav Chizda says you have to finish the fast. Hasam l'tzuri nafshei ba'almo. That wasn't a real fast. They were just painting themselves a little bit to be part of the community. They want to, they want to like separate themselves from the community, but it's not. That wasn't considered a fast. Tashema, another proof. Damar Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer bar Tzadok. This is the son of Rabbi Tzadok that fasted for 40 years. He says, Ani b'bnei banav shel Sanav ben Binyamin. That was one of the groups of people that brought the wood to the base of Migdash at a certain time. And when they would bring it, when they would donate the wood, it was divided up, like which family would bring which month or whatever. So they would have a holiday. Tisha B'Av Lias b'Shabbos. Tisha B'Av was on Shabbos, so it's the Dachinu Lachar Shabbos. It was a Nidcha. They pushed it off to Sunday. The Saninu Bay, we fasted, but it was our holiday, so we didn't finish the fast. You see, you don't have to finish the fast; it's still considered a fast. Well, it's awesome. The Gemara says that wasn't a real fast. That was just to be part of the community. Yeah. It's interesting that Tisha B'Av, that's a Nidcha, got pushed off by their family celebration. It must have been the fact that it was a family celebration because of bringing the wood to the base of Migdash. That was significant enough to push off. I know in general Tisha B'Av Nidcha is more lenient. It's already pushed off to a Sunday. It's a little more lenient than if it would be. Tashema, Dam Rabbi Yechanan, Ei b'Taanis ad Sheva lebeisi. This is a real proof. Rabbi Yechanan says I'm going to fast until I get home. So obviously over there, he's not fasting till the evening. Right. By the way, that's a big deal to fast between meals. He says I'm going to fast till my next meal. It's what you meant is I'm going to fast till my next snack. Okay. So Hasam l'shemuti nafshei midei nesiya huda avad. You know why he was fasting? It wasn't really fasting. He was saying I'm fasting because he didn't want to eat at the Nasi's Bei Nesiya, at the Nasi's house.
What's at stake here? He's pledging the fast for 4 hours and he breaks the fast. So what's at stake here?
Yeah. I think it's a halacha in Hilchas Nedarim. If it's considered a vow,
Right.
because such a fast doesn't really exist.
Let's say a non-Jewish important person invites you to his house. You don't want to say, look, it's kosher, he said,
Right.
They say, I'm fasting today.
Right.
It's a white lie.
Fasting my fault.
Right. Oh, so Rabbi Yechanan wouldn't do that. Rabbi Yechanan would fast until he gets home. which was just avoiding the house of the Nasi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sounds
I think
good.
as long as you don't say, "Oh, today, I'm fasting.
Uh-huh. That's right.
Fasting. And when you get home, you're not fasting. While you're there, you're fasting.
Amar Shmuel, kol tainish lekibalam b'yayim lav shmei tainis. Shmuel holds that you have to accept the fast on the day before. The Yosef Mai. What happens if he fasts even though he didn't accept it? Amar Rabba bar Shila dami lemafucha demal yazika. This is like a bellows that's filled with air. Basically, he did nothing. Emas mekabale. When does he accept it on himself? Rav Amar b'mincha, Shmuel Amar b'tfilas mincha. Rav says anytime in the afternoon. That's what it sounds like. And could be like Rashi says, even while he's walking in the market. And Shmuel says, no, it's during the tfilas mincha. Yeah. It's during the davening, during the Shemona Esrei. Amar Rabbi Yosef, kavasei de Shmuel mistabra. Rabbi Yosef says that Shmuel is logical. The Ksiv Megillas Taanis Lahen Kol Inish the Yesei Alihi Mikadmas Dina Yesar. Megillas Taanis says that for these days, any person Yesei Alihi Mikadmas Dina Yesar. Yesar means tell me how they translate it in English. This is the Megillas Taanis. These are holidays that a person's not supposed to fast on. And the Gemara is saying, Rabbi Yosef is saying that because in the Megillas Taanis it says that any person that has accepted on himself, my love, is it saying that unless a person has accepted on himself, then he needs to fast? How do they translate it? Then let me take a look over there. Sure. Yeah, it says in the Megillas Taanis, whoever has bound himself beforehand, Yesar, he will be bound. So whoever accepted on himself a Taanis has to keep it. You see, you have to accept the Taanis beforehand. You can't just walk in. The Gemara says, Loi. Yasser Atzmai.
Is that a requisite, or is that if he accepts it, then he must keep it? But is it a requisite to accept it in order to fast? If he accepts it, he must keep it.
Right.
But if he didn't accept it before, based on some of what we're saying, he could still fast.
He could fast, but the fast is like just air in a bellows. It's not. It doesn't have the significance of a fast. That's the way.
You say he's full of hot air.
It's full of hot air.
This isn't the bellows lets out its air very slowly, I think, but it doesn't keep it. So it's like a balloon.
So here.
The other thing is solidarity.
Oh yeah.
That's a modern idea.
Right.
Pick up solidarity fast. Just doing it, so you don't have to do the whole thing.
Right, that's what we were learning. The Gemara says, no, what it means is Yasser Atzmai, that he's forbidden to eat. But it doesn't mean, let me see that again. Loi, Yasser Atzmai. He shall render himself prohibited from transgressing these instructions. No, the opposite. He's not allowed to fast. Despite the prior vow to fast, it is prohibited from to do. So he's not allowed to fast. This Gemara switches back. So if the Gemara thought that maybe what it means is he is bound, and the Gemara says, no, what it means is that he's not allowed to fast because it's a holiday. So Pligi bar Reb Chia Reb Shimon bar Rebbe. There's a machlekes Reb Chia and Reb Shimon bar Rebbe. That's Reb Yehuda Nasi's son, who was a chavrusa with Reb Chia. Chadamar Yesar. One says that he's bound by his fast, even though it's on one of the holidays of Megillas Taanis. V'chadamar Yasser. One says that he's forbidden to fast. Mandamar Yeser. One that says that he's bound by the fast Kedam Rinan. As we said, Mandamar Yasser, that he's not allowed to fast. Maihi, where do you get this from? The Tanya Megillas Taanis. It says in Megillas Taanis, Kolinish the Yesel Mikad Mistana. Any person that comes that made forbidden the Yesel, that he brought on himself from earlier, Yasser, it's forbidden. Ketzad, how is this? Yachid shkibel of sheni v'chamishi v'sheni shall kol hashana kula. Let's say a person took on himself a fast, bahab, for the whole year. V'yiru b'yam tov maksum Megillas Taanis. And then on one of those Mondays or Thursdays is a holiday. Im nidra kaidem l'gzeres seinu. If he took the vow before we made that holiday, then yevatal nidra es gzeres seinu. Then his vow overrules the Megillas Taanis. V'im gzeres seinu kedemus l'nidra. Then if the Megillas Taanis came before his vow, then tivatal gzeres seinu es nidra. Then he doesn't he doesn't fast because the Megillas Taanis came first.
If the fast, if the calendar was already set, he knew about it, right? But he can't say, oh, there's a holiday. He knew about it.
Yeah, it's true.
No.
And if the calendar was set
What it
afterwards,
means
"Oh, I
is-
didn't know there would be a
what
holiday
it-
on that day, so I
No, what it
don't-"
means is that the strength of the holiday
Right.
was already in place, and so he wasn't allowed to take a vow of a fast on the day that's already a holiday. That's what it's saying. Otherwise, the sages are coming in and imposing a holiday on something that he has already forbade on himself. So then his vow takes place. So that would fit with if he's allowed to fast or he's not allowed to fast. That would fit with that opinion. Okay, let's leave it here. Shakaya.
Wow.
Getting there.